Hello there, people of the internet. Today is just kind of a for fun video. I'm doing what I like doing, and I'm going to go ahead and run an experiment today. So, out here at the gun range, and I just feel like today is an M1 Garand day, or M1 Garand, however it is that you feel like pronouncing it. You know, I don't judge. But this right here is an absolutely immaculate CMP refurbished M1 Garand. Or, you know what, I'm just going to call it the M1 rifle from here on out. This right here, according to the serial number, is a 1952 production. There is not a scratch or ding on this rifle, except for one little tiny scratch. And I wish I knew where it came from, but I just put it on my shelf one day, came back the next day, and there's just this little hairline scratch on this otherwise perfect rifle. It shouldn't be too hard to fix though. I think what I'm going to do with this thing is I'm going to get just like a cheapo, worn out, bashed up stock, because the finish on the metal work itself does have some wear on it, but the stock itself is immaculate. So I'm going to keep the stock for presentation purposes, but I'm probably going to put the rifle guts and whatnot inside of a beat up stock just so I don't have to worry about scratching it, because I'm so concerned. I mean, it would be different if this was at least a little bit torn up, but man, this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Now, this is a little off topic, but just bear with me. I wear pants basically every day, right? Well, today I'm wearing shorts because my legs are extremely white. Like, really, really white. Thank you, Kevin. Kevin agrees with how white my legs are. But I always wear pants to cover up how white they are, and that always leads to them just like being really, really, really pale. So today I'm wearing my tactical basketball shorts. It's a nice sunny day. I ought to get some sun on my legs. Ought to be a pretty good day. So we're out here at roughly, I don't know, 40 yards or so. I want to see if this M1 Garand is sighted in at least halfway decently. I seem to recall it being sighted in last time I had checked it, but we're gonna go ahead and just double check that everything's lined up on this rifle except for the rear sight, which is winded just half a click right. Originally, I thought that I was simply pulling my rounds, but a buddy of mine also fired this rifle, and he also was hitting exactly where I was hitting. So that tells me that it was the rifle. That's why I have the rear sight just a hairline adjusted. Alright, so today's choice of ammunition, I have some 145 Full Metal Jacket steel case ammo. This right here is Wolf Production. We're just going to go ahead, run this through the M1 Garand, send some rounds downrange, see where we're hitting, and we'll move on from there. Wait a second. Do you hear that? It's some keyboard commander absolutely mashing on his keyboard. Man, I can hear it from here. That I should not run steel case ammunition inside of an M1 Garand. And as soon as he sees this part of the video that I'm acknowledging what it is that I'm doing here, he's gonna delete his video. But I'm gonna see it, or he's gonna delete his comment, but I'm gonna see it anyway, just because I get notifications for all of the comments on my channel. So, you can't hide from me. But if this right here makes you absolutely cringe, this right here is actually a part of an experiment that I'm doing to see just how bad steel case ammunition is when ran through an M1 Garand. I've got, I don't know, we'll call it like 250 rounds, because I did run some steel rounds through my 1917 as well, so around 250-ish rounds of steel case ammunition through this M1 Garand. I am using the updated gas system for this M1 Garand, so we don't have to worry about bending the operating rod. And I'm noticing absolutely zero wear on the extractor or the feed ramp in this rifle. But this probably still makes you cringe just because you're so unbelievably taught up in your ways and you refuse to accept any sort of new information. So I'm going to take the steel case ammunition, toss it over there. And what do I have right here? What is this? This is actual proper M1 Garand ammunition. This right here is made by PPU. This right here is the good stuff. Well, I have a gas system inside of this M1 Garand rated specifically for that 145 grain. So I'm actually going to run this through here with this gas system, and I want to see how well the actual lower pressure M1 Garand ammunition runs with this gas system set up for that steel case ammunition. The reason I want to do this is because normally whenever I fire my brass stuff, I swap over to my other gas system, which is the stock gas system that the M1 Garand came with. But I want to see if this runs well enough, even though it's going to be running at an even lower pressure than it normally would, so we don't have to worry about bending any operating rods. But I want to see if it runs well enough to be used with the updated gas system so I don't have to consistently swap it around. I only say that because the current gas system that I have for this thing is the updated one, and the old stock one is at a spot that I do not have access to. Okay, so this is also another little rumor that I wanted to check out. Apparently the M1 Garand has a safety feature that stops you from getting Garand thumb. Wow, Garand thumb. Why is it called Garand thumb and the M1's pronounced Garand? I have a whole video on exactly why that is, if you're interested on that topic. But now that I say it out loud, like side by side, it's just, okay, haha, fire it. He saw my bright white legs from a mile away. But apparently these right here have a safety feature in them that actually stops the bolt from closing onto your thumb as long as you're keeping downward pressure onto the clip. So I'm going to test that out. I'm going to keep my thumb on the charging handle just in case the safety system on this thing doesn't work. But let's go ahead and cram this magazine in there all the way down. Okay. All right. I have pressure on the Garand, and so far the bolt is not driving into my thumb. The bolt didn't even go home. This is one of the things that I heard about. A lot of times with these rifles, you gotta smack them forward. Occasionally you'll have one that flies forward, but there is some sort of safety mechanism in there that as long as you kept that downward pressure, then this should happen. So whenever you're feeding these things, don't like gingerly feed it, because that's whenever you get Garand thumb. So let's smack it forward. There we go. Safety's off. Where's Kevin? I heard him scream. I don't see him over there, so we should be safe to shoot. All right, let's go ahead and see just how well the rounds cycle with the gas system set up for the steel case ammunition. I'm expecting not very well because this is already lower pressure stuff, but let's go ahead and just test that theory. Gas system is set up quite liberally open, so we're gonna have quite a low pressure inside this M1 Garand's gas system. All right, launching the lead. Well, we cycled one round. Did we load the other? We did. The Garand successfully cycled. We launched our lead probably about the 2 o'clock position, which is about where it is that you want it to launch. So that's a good sign. Shows no sign of overpressure, which is exactly what we were, expecting. Woohoo, that is toasty. I want to go ahead and check this out real quick. Make sure there's no bulging on the primers or nothing. Nope, primer looks good, shell looks good, no split cases, no nothing like that. Pop this back off to safety. All right, we did cycle. Doesn't look like we hit our target though. Let me try that one more time. Oh, we are hitting consistently left. Our rounds are, however, coming out of the rifle to a consistent spot. Aha, that was really hot. That toasted me pretty good. Okay, I adjusted our rear sight just a little bit further. This is exactly what we were going through the other day whenever I was out here with a buddy and we were each hitting consistently left. And I guess I got drunk or something, played with my rear sight because it was back in the center notch. So now I've got it back where I had originally adjusted it. Let's see where we hit. I have no idea where that one ran off to. I think I fired that one a little high. There we go. All right, looks like I brought us a little too far right, but we're definitely right where we need to be, and we are hitting just a hair high. Adjust us to right about there. We were sighted out for 200 yards, so that tells me why we were hitting just a hair high. Okay, looks like on that one, we hit a little bit too far to the left. Like, man, that is close to dead center. But looks like now we're hitting just a hair low. So let me readjust this just slightly. Okay, this should put us pretty much right where we need to be. Yep, down right there, right where we want it. Okay, cool. Man, this 30-06 hits really hard. Take that, you dirty steel. Who likes that Garand ping? I know I did. Well, boys, wasn't that just a jolly good time? That primer looks really good. Going through collecting all that nice PPU reloadable brass. Looks like for the most part our fired rounds were actually quite consistent. Way more consistent than I was expecting on this adjusted gas system. And we fired all of the rounds successfully. We in fact did not have any malfunctions with the brass ammo through the adjusted gas system, which is good. That means that I can feel good about firing this thing. Okay. I also got it sighted right where I want us to be, so we still are hitting just a hair left, but I adjust it and we're hitting just a hair right, so I'm assuming that my own faults are happening somewhere there. I am shooting offhand. Hi Spider, how are you? I'm gonna take you, put you right over here so you don't bother me. But I am just offhand shooting, freehand shooting, whatever that's called. I'm shooting with no support whatsoever, so we're gonna have some sort of circulation there. So still I got it right where I want it to be. This M1 Garand looks like, because whenever I had bought it, the sights were just a hair off. And before I tried shooting it, I had realigned them. So thinking about it, probably should have tried shooting it, because now with it firing pretty much center, I got it right where it was whenever I'd gotten it. So somebody knew what they were doing with that. But that was a lot of fun. I really like this M1 Garand and I want to keep shooting it, but I don't have a whole lot of 30-06 for it. I could blast some steel case through it, but people like cringe and panic and freak out whenever you put steel case through an M1 Garand. If it's one of the older Garands, I could understand that, but by the 50s, our metallurgy and whatnot, especially if you get yourself like a later Garand, like one from the 60s, our metalwork had come to the point to where not only was steel ammunition much more malleable than it was, you know, just a few years before, but the metal that the rifles are made out of was also much stronger. So I could understand, like, a late 30s Garand having trouble with steel case ammunition, but these later patterns I'm noticing like literally zero wear on these things. I'm going to be making an update video whenever I stick a good amount of steel case ammunition through this thing, but I'm noticing literally zero wear on all of the components of this rifle. And as you can see, it's still functioning flawless whether I'm running steel or brass through it. As long as I have that updated gas system, that's what I really care about. I don't want to go bending the operating rod on this thing. Okay, I do really want to shoot this thing some more, but I need more 30-06. I might be going to the gun store. I want some 30-06. Hell, I'm gun store bound. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe to the channel for more. I do this stuff all the time. Like the video if you like the video. In the description, you're going to find a bunch of links to all sorts of stuff. They're all great links. I'm going to say, hey, thanks for watching, and I'm off to the gun store. I want to go get some more 30-06. Well, if they have any. Last couple of times I've been there, they haven't had any 30-06. You know, I'm out here in the rural areas of Florida, and 30-06 is one of the more popular rounds out here, like more popular than 223 or 308 or any of those things, just because we have so many older retired people out here, and there's a lot of hunters out here, and they all have their old school hunting rifles, and there's so many people that have 30-06s out here. So 30-06 ammo is hard to find out here. I could get it online, but and the prices of 30-06 are ludicrous. At least at the gun store, I can get a fairly decent price, especially if I buy like multiple boxes, just because I know the people there. It's great having situations like that. Anyway, I'm rambling at this point. You guys go off. Have a fantastic day. Thanks for watching. Anything you want to see me do with this M1 Garand, by all means, I'm all ears. I definitely want a poorer quality stock for this thing, because I don't want to damage the glorious stock that it has. I also need more sun on my legs. It's like blinding me. It's crazy.
Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. Poor man's Garand. It's a shame that bolt action shotguns aren't more mainstream.